It is in the jungle.
This is the world's first ever sperm race.
Welcome to the Trash Cats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven. And today we're talking about coming, drugging, and gunning.
It sounds like a lot of responsibility on our part for world domination.
It's the three funnest things about life.
So that's the three pillars
of the Trash Cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cum, drugs, and guns.
I think I don't remember if you actually sent this to me or if it just showed up. But my mom recently sent me the video of the raccoon that was found in someone's car with like a meth pipe or something.
Yeah, hell yeah. Doing it big.
She was like, "This seems like trash cat behavior." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right on it with that."
Well, we got a couple goofy things to play with today, but first, how was your week?
It has been a long one. I think since we actually peek behind the kimono here, I don't think we've actually recorded one of these in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, we've been a little ahead. Yeah.
So this feels foreign in a kind of weird way. But I'm exhausted. That's where I'm at. It's been a lot. Work's picking up. It's just been consuming all of my thoughts. But therapy's going good. So here's hoping.
Do you feel better?
How about you?
Do you feel better than where you were last year?
I think.
Like, I know it's high stress time, but on the average.
Yeah. In a different, maybe not. No, not really. I think also last year around this time, it was like the stakes were lower. There was a lot less going on. We kind of like started this whole new business in the last year. That's kind of picked up so much of our attention, and it's just kind of grown exponentially and in a way that, we were kind of hoping for, but we didn't really expect it to happen as quickly as it did. So, we're just, we're catching up.
But how do you feel compared to last year?
I think last year I came into this season with it was a lot more familiar territory, at least, where it was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a lot, but like it's familiar territory. This year is kind of uncharted waters as to what we're expecting. And we were kind of handicapped with not having a large kind of storage and place to prep this year, where we weren't able to get ahead in a lot of, places as we would have liked to. We did get a bunch of stuff done. We got a couple things done that were like, we don't have to worry about this for the rest of the year. And that is critical.
Let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Is it anxiety, stress?
Not right now. I talked that out with my therapist, earlier, where I was actually, the other day, I was starting to think that I was having depression symptoms kind of out of nowhere. I haven't been dealing with it for a little while. But I caught myself kind of feeling just lethargic and like I didn't really want to do things. And it's like, no, it's not, I'm not depressed. I'm just exhausted. I'm physically exhausted. Which is, more easily managed. And then the anxiety stuff, a lot of it, I really have taken a lot from therapy already with that, where I was telling him earlier, I'm finding myself kind of subconsciously going through the steps at this point when it's like I'm faced with a new thing. It's like, obviously it's like I'm still I'm still having the like stress response where it's like, okay, I need to make a choice here and I need to react to this. But the way I kind of mitigate that and respond to it has definitely been easier and been better overall, and feels a little less effortless, or no, a little more effortless to,
That's awesome.
it's like it's kind of just doing. I'm kind of doing it on my own now without like having to think about it and walk through it, and so that's been super cool.
Sounds more like eustress over distress, or however you say it. Like stress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm in it. It's part of the gig, and I put a lot of responsibility on myself that I probably don't truly have to. But I enjoy what I do, and I kind of get a thrill out of like when I put in that extra thing, and like, it's like, it's worth it. It's worthwhile to me.
Yeah.
So it's complicated in that way where I'm getting better at turning it off, where it's like, I know to stay later and knock out, more work would be probably beneficial for me tomorrow as far as like my schedule goes, but it would be, bad for my health. And I'm a lot more conscious of that.
That's good.
So we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
How about you? How you doing?
I'm okay. I feel like I'm kind of the flip side of the coin. When I was writing this outline, I have this like reoccurring thing whenever I'm, and we've talked before, it happens with music all the time, where it feels like very emotionally overwhelming. But with I've been reading a bit more than normal, and then it happens with writing too. Like trying to write what I'm thinking or feeling feels very overwhelming sometimes. I've tried to explain it before, but do you get, maybe you get it with anxiety or stress in other ways, but when I'm trying to make something and I'm struggling, I get like a very, it's not like a panic response, but it's like a high intensity feeling where you almost feel like you're hearing things. Is there anything relatable there? Where it's like your whole brain is like starting to catch fire, and it's like,
not so much that. I definitely get like where my mind is racing and I can't focus on a single thing. I especially notice it when I'm like trying to explain something to someone while I'm like multitasking and I'm like in that mode. Like I can't speak. I can't communicate properly sometimes when I'm in there, because I can't get like, if I'm in the middle of working on something in front of me with my hands and someone asks me a question and I don't have a solution for it. Not just a question, but like hey, we're thinking about doing this or maybe doing this. What do you think about this? Maybe we should do this instead. And I'm like, I have like a freeze. I can't form words moment. But that's, and then mostly because I'm like, my mind can't stop on the thing that I'm doing to acknowledge that, but not in it doesn't feel like a hearing voices thing.
I feel like anytime you mention hearing voices, it's like so easily misconstrued. It's right, like it's like a high intensity of everything, all your like instead of not having the words to say, it's like you're flooded with too many things, like too many feelings, too many thoughts. At least for me, where it's, I just feel like an intense ultra violence, where it's like I'm trying to do a thing or make a thing, but I'm feeling way too much, and I don't know why I care about it or why I feel like I need to do this, and I just like it, I feel like very spazzy, and I feel like generally I'm not a very like spazzy person. I feel like I move kind of slow throughout life, but when in those moments, I feel like very much, I don't know, like on fire a little bit, like self-destructive.
I can kind of relate to that. I mean, like that's not so much in the self-destructive aspect, but in the like, it maybe not even so much of the violence, but like the like, it like your body tensing up and like I'm trying to do this thing and I can't do it. It's not like my brain or my body is not allowing me to effectively multitask. And that's also infuriating on top of that. So it kind of makes it more stressful. I don't know.
Yeah, I think part of it is I just, like Sarah had mentioned it to me the other day, like something along the lines of like, oh, did you enjoy like working on your stuff? Because it's not, get off work and then do like 5 hours of like my things. And I rarely like find it enjoyable, but it feels incredibly necessary. And I feel like I've kind of got myself in a weird position with that. And I think I'm kind of reevaluating what I care about. And it gets tricky. Like I feel it a lot when you talk about work stuff, because I just can't, and I feel it about my own work for sure. Like it's not a judgment. I just can't like care about most things very much. And even my own creative pursuits, I don't know how much I care about them anymore, but I feel the intense need to do them, or I feel both unfulfilled, but also, and I think more so, I just feel unwell. Kind of in the way, like you said it, with you for work, it's like that need to feel exhausted.
Yeah.
That distraction.
I think do you feel, let me ask you this, do you feel at all like, I don't know if this is maybe the right word, but like resentful to like art as like to like the need, the feeling to make art because it feels necessary?
I think I've related to that at points. I wouldn't say I feel that way primarily now, but I've definitely felt that before. I think in a lot of ways I felt resentful things haven't, I would say like things haven't paid off, or there haven't been more like fruits for the labor type of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't,
super fair.
But I don't like really associate with that strongly either. I think more like broadly than those things, I just feel like very confused about the the meaningless of it. Where like even if those other things weren't factors at all, I think I would very constantly feel like, well, why am I doing this? Or why do I feel it's necessary? Or what was the point of this? But I used to feel like much more sure-footed, but I was much more delusional too. And I think, I feel okay where I'm at with things now, but it feels more than something less that it's ever something I expect to like pay off or to like build something or whatever. I feel like it's truly just something I just need to do these things to feel okay. And I feel like I've accepted that a long time ago. I just wish it looked different sometimes, or that there was the time to like truly embrace them, opposed to trying to like work it in.
Right.
All of life's other bullshit, you know?
I feel so strongly that, like, I feel very much that's a similar way about my career, about just like working in kitchens and like working in general, because I enjoy so much of like what the industry like is and what it means to me, like working with food in general. Like it's very like everyone does it in every country, whether you're doing it for money or you're doing it for survival. Like everyone kind of has an understanding of food, and like that's kind of what has gotten me into it, of like you meet people that have had different experiences working with it or doing whatever, and it's like it's led me to a lot of cool conversations and meeting cool people. So when I think about like when I feel like doing the extra work or like, staying an extra few hours every day and shit like that, and it's like it's not always resentful, but it's like it can be frustrating, and then there are phases where I go through I'm resentful of like it's bad on my body, and it's like really shitty for like your personal life and like schedule, and it can be that way. The biggest difference is I get paid to do this every day.
Yeah, but to your point, it's like you said, it's not the work itself, it's the opportunity cost, the things that are being lost in the meantime. Yeah.
And that's one, like, I told my therapist earlier today, we were talking about it, and he was like, are you, like, what would you be doing if you weren't working? Like, we're specifically asking him, like, I've been told I have an unhealthy relationship with work, and, like, I don't know how to parse that. Like, do you have any, like, feedback on that? And he basically said, like, do you like what you do? And I said, yeah. And he's like, do you feel like, what would you be doing if you weren't doing work? Like, is it cutting out time that you would spend on something else? And it's like, it's a hard question to answer, because when I'm working a lot, I get home and I want to just fucking veg and watch TV and go to sleep. And I've gotten the taste of what do I want to do when work is light, in the winter times lately. And it's like, I want to do mostly the same shit. Sometimes draw, I want to do other stuff. I want to do some creative things, but it's like, even when I had the opportunity to, I wasn't in a great state of mind this winter. It's a hard, comparison to put it to, but I don't feel like it's holding me back from things that I would rather do. Because I enjoy doing it as much.
It sounds like it's,
or at least I get enough satisfaction out of it.
Yeah,
that it's helpful.
I mean, we've talked about it. I can't imagine it being that way for myself, and I probably have like some amount of judgment or like maybe don't think it's like ideal how you relate to it, but it's clearly
well, I
like
mean, that's the only reason I bring it up.
well, it's clearly like your personality and like what you want to do. So it's like, what the fuck do I know? You know, whatever brings you the most satisfaction, right?
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, if it weren't for, you know, you being as dedicated and insistent on, you know, and like I see the dedication you put into it. Like if it was just me, I would not continue doing this podcast for as long as we have. You know,
yeah.
I enjoy it very much, and it's always like very cool when we come away. Like I think we start so many sessions with like, I'm exhausted, you know, should we put it off? Should we do something else instead? And then we get into it and it's like, this is fun and fine.
We always feel better. Yeah. That's been like my experience creatively with every person I've ever worked with long term, and like any artistic camaraderie, like any like dumb art collective or like collab or and I feel like when I was younger it felt like, oh, people are lazy. Like I felt more judgment-y. I feel like I've said that word too many times, but I really don't feel that way. I just don't think other people need it the same way I do, where it still is some level of work to me. But like how you said with work, I just can't imagine doing anything else with my time. Where like if I'm struggling to find like meaning, purpose, fulfillment, whatever, doing all the things I care the most about, can you imagine how miserable I am when I'm not? It's like, yeah, I just go crazy, dude. Like one evening of not doing stuff, I just feel insane. Like and I'm the same way with everything else. And I'm not like where I want to be with like physical goals or whatever, but I would say like this week on average, I've biked over 3 hours every day. Like I just have to do shit or my brain starts melting down. Which I think is okay, but it is kind of weird. Anything else? Any thoughts? You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. Actually, hang on a minute. I'm fucking dying in here. I turned my AC off and it's killing me.
What are you going to do?
I'm just take my shirt off.
All right. Any honorable mentions?
Absolutely. You know what? Actually, I do. I do have something. It's nothing new. It's something that everyone's heard about before. Right. I've been listening to a lot of Gucci Mane lately.
Oh, shit. Which era?
Oh, the mid 2000s for sure.
Did you ever do the Ferrari Boys?
No.
Gucci and Waka Flocka put out 1 or 2 mixtapes together as the Ferrari Boys.
That's probably good as hell.
It's bad as hell, but it's fun.
I mean, that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Gucci, dude. First Day Out the Feds goes hard as fuck. Like, I feel like every Gucci album has like one track that goes hard, and then the rest is hard to get through. Yeah. But in a fun, cheesy way.
Yeah. I've had Stupid stuck in my head for like 3 days now.
That's funny. Well, I got a couple I can shout out quick. I was just going to do the repeats, right? These are the good dependables. I've been going back to Mr. Bungle. And then Approaching Human John is going to finish that fucking album one of these days. But I think
fuck, we've been saying that shit for 3 years.
Shit. That's what my whole life has been, dude. He's done so many projects because we've like always worked on and off together, but he never wanted to do an album. He's just like put out projects or singles, and for over 15 whatever years, I've been like pressuring him to finally do an album, and he's like so close now, and I know it's still gonna drag on way long. Oh, dude. And to that point, Chaotic Steel is definitely gonna beat him with his project coming out soon. We messaged a little bit. We were talking about doing another episode together right when his album drops, so we gotta schedule that with him.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
we'll give him a push.
Oh yeah, seven new listens.
Yeah.
And then there's a new fella, new to me on Instagram, an artist. His name's No Pattern. Very cool, fresh graphic designy stuff. Highly recommend checking out. And then I was gonna shout out Josh Pfeiffer and India Burns at Skincraft, because I need to email them this week because I'm about to start 2 new things with them. I think I finally got my neck figured out. Getting excited about that. And yeah, that's it. Just kind of the regulars, you know?
Hell yeah.
And then, all right, I think we should kick it off with an easy one. So
I think that's a good, nice little stepping stone for us.
Yeah, let's ease on in with the Sperm Racing Manifesto.
Oh my God.
Bro, did you see this?
No.
Dude, it's sick.
I mean,
dude.
I saw that it was there. I didn't look at it.
Spermracing.com/manifesto. Sperm Racing. 2 legends, 1 microscopic racetrack by the National Institute for the Spermatozoa Exploration. So, sperm racing. When people hear about it, they ask me the same thing every time. Wait, is this actually happening? And the answer is always, hell yeah, it is. But here's the thing. Sperm racing isn't just a joke. It's just not some viral idea.
It isn't just a joke, implying that it is a joke, but...
Bro, they're legitimately having people do sperm racing competitions. And the first event was not as cool as people may have hoped, but I think it's a pretty interesting and goofy idea. It's not just a viral idea for the internet to laugh at. It's something much bigger. Male fertility is declining. Now, do you want to open up our video here?
God damn. Hang on 1 second here. It's the Coliseum. Okay, tell me when to hit play.
One sec. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Everything big always starts small.
Yo, listen, you hear that? Killers in the jungle.
This is the world's first ever sperm race.
Oh, we got Tristan versus Asher.
This is Asher from UCLA versus Tristan from USC. 2 legends, 1 microscopic racetrack. The battle for whose sperm is the healthiest, the fastest, and the tastiest.
Oh, Jesus.
Whose swimmers will win the race. USC versus UCLA. Friday, April 25th, live on spermracing.com.
Bro, there's like clips of like the losers getting like blasted with fake cum and shit. It's pretty funny. Yeah,
it's brutal.
The world is very concerned with men's sperm right now, so spermracing.com decided to put on an event to test the men. Male fertility is declining, like a lot. It's happening quietly, steadily, and nobody really talks about it. Male fertility. Average sperm count of men worldwide in 1973 and 2018. Million sperm per milliliter of semen. It's down on average from 101 to 49 over 37 plus 18, 55 years. And sperm motility, how fast your sperm moves, turns out to be a massive factor in fertility. It's measurable, trackable, and just like running a race or lifting a weight, it's something you can actually improve. But no one's turned it into something people care about. So we did. We're turning health into a sport. And they make like this microscopic racetrack, and then they have a whole like camera system tracking it. There's like these little microscopic obstacles, and it's on a big screen, and they see whose sperm can make it to the end of the track the fastest.
Now, before we go too much further here,
yeah,
we have these stats up above that say the decline in
that is true.
Fertility. Now,
I don't know if that's specific.
Who's
stat.
collecting cum, and who's
the cum sippers?
I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I've never been had like a procedure, a situation where it's like I needed to give a sample, anything like that. Like who? Like,
yeah.
Is this based off of people who are going in for like specifically fertility tests?
It's probably people that are having trouble conceiving, and then since there's been a lot of studies done, it is a real. This is like where we cross.
It says worldwide.
Yeah, this is a real issue, and it kind of crosses over into the red pill Eric Kahn part of the world, where all these loser red pill guys are talking about the microplastics in your balls and guys' testosterone levels dropping. And it is true. And I think people that aren't like Republican red pill losers that care about men's health or advocates, whatever, I think it actually is something worth considering or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like both men and women, kids younger than us, are having like way less sex and way more fertility problems, less kids, whatever. And I think men in particular have a significant lower amount of testosterone and sperm issues, whatever, or are having more issues. And I think the intentions of this are probably well-meaning, but it's just so fucking goofy, right? But
yeah,
the part I haven't read in enough, I guess, is the biggest issue with testosterone levels, because I've had mine tested for various things over the years, because opiates like crush your testosterone, and I've been on opiates for 17 years or whatever, is that a lot of people will test at low levels compared to what are the expected historical averages, but they're not actually having negative symptoms. And all these like men's clinics, testosterone boost places, they will give anyone who comes in steroids, and then they're like fucking up these young men even more, right?
Yeah.
Then they can't produce their own shit because they need anabolics. And that's not good unless you know that risk and are choosing it. But I believe there's a fair bit of research that is now starting to lean into the idea that, yes, testosterone levels and sperm count are lower because our lifestyle doesn't require it to be as high as it used to. And that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as you're not symptomatic of that. As long as it's not negatively affecting your life, it probably makes sense that our levels would be lower than when we're cavemen.
Right.
But I think there's some conversations worth having around it, but it's more just
of course.
The idea of watching sperm race on a microscopic racetrack is just fucking hilarious and kind of rad.
It's good shit. It's creative.
Yeah. Goofs.
You're trying to bring attention to a thing that a statistic you believe in. Like it's definitely a good way to do it.
Yeah, if they grow, if the events do well, I don't know how well that first one did. It's just two random college kids, but if they start getting like celebrities involved in shit, where it's like The Rock versus fucking, I don't know, who the fuck knows. You know what I mean? I could see shit getting like pretty hyped because they have like the live stream going and people are putting bets down and shit. It's pretty funny.
The drawing diagram they have here is what really seals the deal for me.
That did it for you.
It's pretty wild. It's like they did it on their phone screen.
Yeah, and everything else is like pretty.
And they were like, "That's perfect. We don't need to mock this up any nicer. This is perfect."
That's sperm racing, baby. Spermracing.com/manifesto. All right, you ready for second article?
Yeah. Hit me.
Moving. So we did the coming. Now we're doing the drugging. So speaking of health, this ties in with some of our conversations in the last couple episodes related to Christian nationalism and our current government administration. We have the second article. So, to preface, I don't know how much you've heard, but with all this ICE, FBI shit, I heard the Trump administration at one point were just going city to city with shotguns, not dissimilar to Elmer Fudd, and we're trying to hunt all the local junkies.
I did hear that, actually.
Yeah, but just recently, they started to get lazy, and they figured out a much more effective way to kill addicts. So,
do tell.
So, to recap on the last season of American Decay, we're going to revisit the tariff episode. So, remember when the entire Trump administration's world economic policy was being built on the broken back of fentanyl addicts?
Of course.
You remember that? Yeah, well, I have a little update on that. So, it's been about a month or so since the unprecedented Trump tariffs on Canada, right?
Yeah.
Started with Canada, hit China, Mexico, and the rest of the world very shortly after, under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the EPA. And this was based on a quote-unquote extraordinary threat from illegal immigration and drug trafficking specifically. Now, during these announcements about the Canada tariffs, Canada was like, hey, all the reports say less than 1% of America's fentanyl is coming from Canada. And the Trump administration was like, that's still too high, right? And the irony, of course, is more of our fentanyl flows north to them than theirs to us.
Right.
So,
and the people that are bringing it here are not illegal Canadian peoples.
Right.
It's people that are going there and getting it and bringing it back.
Yeah, shipping it up, right? Just traffickers. But, typically the tariffs have to be done by Congress, but using the Emergency Economic Powers Act, International Emergency, Trump was able to do it on his own without Congress by declaring the national emergency around fentanyl. And that's why I've joked since that they've built their entire economic policy off the backs of broken fentanyl addicts.
Right.
So that was the pretext to the tariffs.
Right.
And was used to change United States economic policy and to consolidate power in the office of the presidency.
Yeah.
Clearly stated, fentanyl addiction was used to justify U.S. economic policy while centralizing authoritarian presidential power. You don't need Congress when you can lie about Fetty. Nevertheless, for the first time in our lives, Republicans were pretending to care about addicts.
Yeah.
Instead of telling addicts they deserve death more than a dose of Narcan, our president showed how much he loved us by crushing the future of world trade. Republican compassion is a lie. We all know it's a lie, but now the hypocrisy is more clear than ever. This is from just last week. You want to click that article? What's the title of this one?
As overdose deaths fall, Trump administration proposes cuts to life-saving Narcan program.
Base, dude. They said, fuck those junkies. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, they were just talking about how fentanyl murders hundreds of thousands of American citizens, and we have to stop the drug trade, and we're changing our tariff policy based on this, and and it's all because all these drugs the immigrants are selling to our citizens that are murdering our people. And 2 weeks later, they say, hey, we need to stop funding Narcan now. So they're basically saying, hey, this is a national emergency, and we do want everyone to die.
Yeah, we actually, it's an emergency because the problem is we need the right people to die.
Yes.
We want the very specific people to suffer from this.
I think it's pretty incredible. Republican compassion is a lie. This is completely expected, but for the hypocrisy to be so clear that they didn't even bother to wait a couple months. They just went for it right away.
Yeah, immediate.
Yeah. You want to kick this one?
The Trump administration has proposed cutting a $56 million grant that teaches first responders how to use life-saving overdose reverse drug naloxone.
Naloxone. Yeah.
Naloxone.
I got a couple of those bad boys right here.
Oh, nice. Which experts say could reverse progress the United States has made in lowering opioid overdose deaths. A recent dip in overdose deaths have been credited in part to wider naloxone access. The medication was made available for over-the-counter purchase in 2023 and is standard for first responders to carry. It's even popped up in some classrooms.
What's really frustrating about that is that it just became available for over-the-counter purchase in 2023, and I don't even know if that's true in all states still, because I don't know if I needed it or not, but doctors were still writing prescriptions for it as recently as a month ago. I got a refill or whatever. It is too little, too late. And frankly, I'm surprised there is a recent dip in overdoses because the newest fentanyl is mixed with the xylocaine, which is, there's fentanyl, carfentanil, and then xylocaine is not an opiate. It is a sedative used for horses, elephants, whatever, more similar to ketamine. And heroin doesn't exist anymore. Like,
right.
The place I go to for my meds, maybe once a year, does anyone ever test positive for heroin. It is all fentanyl with various mixes of other shit, but the newest mix is with xylocaine, which is a sedative that is non-responsive to Narcan. So in Cincinnati, tons of people are overdosing and they cannot be brought back with Narcan. And all of these years, Narcan has been available only by prescription, and now that it's finally not really working, they have finally made it over the counter. So too little, too late. Naloxone is also sold under the brand name Narcan. Naloxone is in Suboxone, which is a maintenance therapy, and it is also in the Narcan that brings you back. Is available in injectable and nasal spray form. Is an opioid antagonist that attaches to the receptors in the brain, reversing and blocking its effect of other opioids, including fentanyl. The grant money that Trump is proposing to defund, I'm not sure if it's happened yet, can be used by the state and local organizations for training people on how to use naloxone, as well as administering and distributing the medication. Grantees are expected to establish protocols to refer patients to treatment or support services and provide other safety information about illicit drugs and overdoses. The grant is administered by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration. Also would like to point out, in Cincinnati, they just cut over 75% of the CDC. Like, everything about public health right now has been gutted.
Yeah.
All over the country. And the results of these things will be seen for decades. And it's not going to be obvious either. It's going to be things that really affect society in subtle and insidious ways. The idea of using a drug problem to justify trade wars and potentially real wars against our ally, while also defunding a cure to the overdose of those drugs at the same time, is pure evil. Just,
yeah,
it's so deceptive and cruel, you know?
Yeah, it's I don't see how someone can look at this and not like see the intentionality, like the full intention of it, and to see that, and then also not see the hypocrisy.
Yep. So clear. I just think this is like one of the most clear examples of Republican cruelty and hypocrisy on display. There's
the people that support him in such a way of like, and you know, we know it to be true. Like you've seen so many videos of it where people are just like, in any given chance, like what he said is law. Like the videos that came out the last time, and I think it was in 2020 or 2016 even, where they were like, this is a quote from Hitler and he said this, and they're like, oh yeah, that's terrible, that's awful. And they're like, actually that was
poisoning the blood of our nation.
Yeah. They're like, well, then they go, oh, actually that was, Trump said that. And they're like, oh, well, I'm sure he had his reasons. I'm sure. And I stand by it then. And it's like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Fucking whack, dude. There's a quote later in the article. It's pretty good. Quote, we believe, this is from a sheriff, by the way. Even local sheriffs, like, that are reasonable, think this is terrible because it will affect their daily lives every day, not having the resources to deal with the addicts they're called in to deal with. Quote, we believe it's going to exacerbate the overdose crisis at a time when nearly 90,000 people died from overdoses last year. You know, cops and firefighters, despite my qualms with firefighters, right? I mean, fuck the cops too, but goddamn, firefighters suck when you overdose. Their whole job, their career, what they do day to day has been completely inverted because of fentanyl. Mm-hmm. Like every day, some of the people I've talked to, over half of their calls are for overdoses.
That's completely obnoxious.
And most of the time, you know, they have the Narcan, they bring people back. In a lot of places, they aren't even charging people with the crimes anymore because it's just so regular. And they're frustrated by it, right? Like,
of course.
Some of them, I'm sure, like, they just want to help and they don't care what form that takes. But a lot of them are like, I didn't get into this job to fucking deal with overdosing junkies every day, right? You know?
Right.
But no, I'm not judging that or whatever. It's just like the reality of like how fucked it is.
Yeah.
But in a time where we clearly have such an overdose, poisoned drug stream issue, and the federal government uses it as a pretext for whatever they want, really, to declare national emergencies. This week they're talking about suspending habeas corpus, whatever the fuck, which is what protects you from being arrested without probable cause.
Right.
Nationwide, they're trying to suspend that. And meanwhile, when they say it's all because of this drug problem, they at the same time will stop funding the cure. I think it's pretty incredible.
It's just upsetting. It's just like how is this not
front page, right?
front page, but it's like the for the people who were just, screaming about like they don't want to lose rights, they don't want to, whatever, we're the part of the law and order party and shit like that. It's like, how could you possibly
the Make America Healthy Again?
Yeah, like how do you,
baby? How
do you turn around? Like what is actually broken in your head that you can just full 180 like that and just go,
their brain broke.
Like he knows what he's doing. It's all good. It's like how do you?
I blame religion.
Like that's definitely like I fully do. It's the ability to just believe shit without any reasoning because somebody told you that this person is to be trusted.
It's the first lie. It is interesting though. I don't know how much you've seen that right now they are kind of warring the Catholic Church with this new pope. Because the new pope is like a wokey, so now the maggots are battling the Catholic Church. It's kind of interesting.
They were upset that he didn't use English for his speech in the Vatican.
It's so fucking stupid.
He gave a speech in Latin, in Spanish, and Italian. He didn't speak in English once.
I really hate that in this timeline, and despite this, I mean, my enemy of my enemy may be my friend, but I will always advocate for the deconstruction of both the church and the Pope himself. But there's a world that now we're in a timeline where I may often be supporting the Pope against the president.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid as fuck. But the reason...
the Chicago Pope versus the president.
But the reason, like... these stories like about Narcan or whatever are so minor. Like this is not being talked about much. It's because it was one of 3 bigger stories that day. And to put the cherry on top, I think it was the same day, but if not, it was a couple days after that week. Just to put a little extra on it, the Trump administration then announced that they were proposing to cut the 988 suicide prevention crisis hotline and the lifestyle services phone number for the LGBTQ community.
That's insane.
They're like, yo, we don't need Narcan or a suicide hotline. Fuck them.
It's insane that it's like they're looking in places like that. They're cutting programs like that.
Minuscule
and then
budget.
And then like they've already released the like how much his golfing trips has cost, like
the plane,
since he started.
Dude.
The plane. Oh my God, the plane.
Dude, it's so fucked. Even Ben Shapiro won't defend it. There's a lot of people are turning on him for
Dude, fucking Paul Rand put out a video like it's corrupt and it's fucked up. It's like if you got fucking Paul Rand, that piece of shit talking about, oh no, this is actually a bad move.
He used to be better, and then he got worse. Because he was kind of like the old, like, classic libertarian holdout, right? Or am I fucking up? And I think every once in a while he'd have, like, kind of a decent point on an issue, and then he got, like, brain fucked by Trump and got maggot brain, and I think yeah, even people as stupid as him and Ben Shapiro are like, this is not good. Like, this shit's blatantly corrupt. Our budget, everything we've funded is fucked, and we've cut all this money from small health programs that save lives across not only the country but the world, through vaccinations, preventative medicine. All these things are gone, cancer research halted, and there aren't like easy statistics of like how much harm this is going to do, right? But we know just from the cancer research and the mosquito net funding and shit, tens of thousands of people die from these funding decisions over the next X amount of years. Like, they are choosing death for profit, and it's not even direct profit, right? It's like money in their federal budget they can allot to other priorities they have, which will in turn be military fund, budget funding that they keep lying about and other stupid shit. And then through the applause they get from that, Trump can personally, financially cash out on it with his scams of Qatar planes and crypto coin scams and fake Bibles. It's just so like cartoonishly out of control.
Yeah.
Just wild, dude.
I know. I saw a headline for impeachment thing. Is that going anywhere?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, there even
will
if they try,
be,
they don't have enough votes in the House anyway.
No. I think there will be more redoubled efforts. I think maybe this plane deal is getting some momentum, but it's not there yet. They have to convert a chunk of Republicans, but a lot of, even Laura Loomer and like some of his closest confidants have like really turned on him over it. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there, but it not there yet.
Which is so salty because it was like his whole platform for shit was like, I mean, of course, the Project 2025 came out and it was like, of course I haven't looked at it. I don't know anything about it. And it's like, okay, but like everyone who's working on it is like working with you directly. Everyone who touched it is like people that you're speaking so highly of. So like, what's going on with that? He's like, I don't know anything about it. And they're like, okay, cool.
He's just a live streamer. He doesn't know anything
about it then.
He's just a streamer now. He's not a real He's just a streamer.
He fucking sits around all day and just tweets shit.
He'll sign whatever you put in front of him at a press conference at this point. It's frightening. You brought up the impeachment. That kind of transitions us to our last little article here. So, speaking of the impeachment, like you questioned rightfully, what are the Democrats up to about all this? So, meanwhile, as world trade is fucked, the president has the immunity of a king, our country threatens war with our own allies, and we have legal immigrants as well as U.S. citizens being enslaved or banished, including most recently a young child with cancer who was not given treatment on her way the fuck out of our country. And now, Democrats opposing the president have been arrested, including judges, lawyers, and even a mayor. It's not good, guys. And while all of this is happening, what are the Democrats proposing we do? Have you seen this?
No, but I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, some Democrats seem to think now would be the perfect time to take away the tools that which a citizen could defend themselves from this authoritarian rule.
Jesus.
Article number 3. Democrats reintroduce assault weapons ban alongside Sandy Hook Parkland school shooting survivors. Bro, this like fucks my mind. It's hilarious. Republicans are stupid, but Democrats are weak. I will always side with weak over dumb because weak people can become strong, but you can't teach people not to be stupid But the fact that the spineless Democrats think now is the time to refocus by going after assault weapons right now is like so fucking dumb and futile.
It's super fucked. It's like they're removing the funding from your kid's school. Let's fucking go for that first right now.
To take away the things we can offend ourselves with, while also guaranteeing to make themselves less popular. Like, you want to take shit away from people while everything else, you think that's what's going to get people to support you? It's so stupid.
It's extremely fucked. It's like, okay, I see you're having a bad day. Give me your shoes.
So, to preface this article, I want to be perfectly clear. While both Democrats and Republicans suck, only one of these parties are a true threat to our freedom. Republicans will always be worse and should never be trusted. But this does not mean that the Democrats shouldn't also be criticized. We want them to be better so that they lose less. Democrats need to grow the fuck up and get over their gun issues. I am not opposed to reasonable gun control, but that's simply not where our country is at right now. It harms progressive values to over-focus on gun control when we have a mad king in the White House. Democrats are at their best when they are defending freedoms instead of restricting them, and they need to strategically embrace this. Americans long ago decided that the cost of freedom was worth stomaching a certain amount of death. It's easy to say that's unacceptable if it's a freedom you don't need or value. But most of the country wants their guns. I want my guns. And now is simply not the time to try to take them. You need people's support. And I don't want to give away things that we can use to protect ourselves. It's like so many different, like an onion of stupid layers. It's like, why? They just like hurt themselves at every, they think this is them being strong. Like they're going to coalesce a bunch of support and power through doing something like this. And it's just, it'll hurt them every single time. It's like Republicans with abortion. Give up the losing issues and focus on your strengths.
I feel like even, especially in the last 8 to 12 years, I feel like over time, I've heard more people in the last 6 months who I would have thought were like, I don't want to touch a gun. I don't want to be near a gun. I don't want anything to do with guns, being like, hey, can you teach me how to use a gun? Like, will you go to a gun range with me and teach me how to use a gun?
Yeah. Because the value is much more obvious or appealing when we're seeing what an authoritarian government is capable of. If ever there was a time for Democrats to embrace gun ownership, it surely is now.
They would win over so many more Republicans with that.
Yes. So many centrists.
If they're like, well, Trump's taken away my Medicaid and the grocery prices are going up and gas prices are going up, and he's doing some things that I see, I've kind of seem shady, but I'm kind of on the fence about it, but the Democrats are trying to take away my guns. Yeah. And I can't have that.
That trumps everything. To us, it is our abortion, right? Like, I'm willing to stomach a lot of dumbass Democrat shit because I know Democrats will defend abortion and Republicans will always try to take it away. But if there's ever a day Republicans grow the fuck up and drop their obsession over abortion, which is unlikely because it entails so much religious support, Democrats should be very afraid if Republicans ever do that, because they will have the vast majority of much larger percent of people on their side if they stop their over obsession with abortion and gay marriage.
Yeah.
And on our side of the fence, Democrats need to do the same with guns and get the masses on their side. Like, this is not the time to do this. Frankly, I don't really give a fuck about reading this article. It's just a bunch of I hate when school shooting survivors attach themselves to gun legislation issues. It's just so weak and spineless that these orgs use them as tools. I just think it's very distasteful.
And I mean, and truly, like, bro, you didn't even die.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
You lived.
I don't give a fuck that people at your school got shot. I truly don't care. We know it's bad. Like, I don't need you to, like, shame and scold people that because someone did a violent thing at your school, you want to take things from everyone else. This is a problem that's cultural. It's a bigger problem than the gun itself. Like, it's just so fucking stupid. And the article's just going to be dumb trash. I read it earlier. It's just Democrats want to put restrictions on semi-automatics and like clip stuff. And frankly, I'm probably okay with almost all of the things proposed, right? I really don't. I think there's a lot of room for reasonable gun control, like red flag laws and limits on some things. I'm not opposed to that shit. It's just so obviously harmful to, like, progressive progress right now.
Right. It's like you said, it's just not the time. This is not read the fucking room. This is not the climate for that right now.
Yeah, it's just but there's a lot of Democratic support for it, which is just such a bad omen to me. Like, why is this what these Democratic leaders are focusing on right now? With everything else happening, this is the big bill you want to go for? Or whatever. It's just, the priorities are so off. It completely loses me any confidence of putting up a better fight for the American people when that's where the priority is. Deeply disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the article drones on and on, but I got one other un-article related thing I could touch on, but
please.
You got any other thoughts? Any stuff you wanna?
No, I'm just more depressed now than I was when I started the call. It's all.
I think the meta of that is like, it's like you don't want this shit to dominate your life, but it is our,
of course,
like, reality. I think it's kind of warranted. And then,
of course,
but the expectation should be, I think, that none of it truly matters until it does. And you just want to be aware and to know what to be angry about for when the time is right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's drama, bro. It's just drama.
It's just fucking drama, all right.
It's just drama streams, bro.
Fucking horror.
Yeah. All right, so I wanted to wait till the end of the episode to bring this up. I'm kind of curious what you'll think, but I know the chance of the person hearing this are so minuscule, but if it's buried in an episode, there's a 0 chance they hear this. But someone I know, a younger guy, I don't want too many clues, but someone a few years younger than me, that's a guy, is dipping their toes into the old Jewish question. And they don't really understand, at least my impression is that they don't truly understand what the things they are hearing from, like, the Nazi fucks, the Andrew Tates, the Kanye, all those losers. I don't think they understand the implications of some of the things they are saying or starting to believe. And I want to have a conversation with them soon. And as we've talked about quite a bit, I just think there's so many good reasons to hate people. And beliefs and religion are top among the best reasons to hate people. It's fully acceptable, and I think should be encouraged to hate Christians, Muslims, and Jews for their religious beliefs. But it ends at their religious beliefs. The people that talk about, whether it's Judaism or Islam specifically, those two the most, with all the conspiracy shit, they're talking about ethnicity. They're never talking about religious beliefs. And I feel like there's times maybe I've even made mistakes on here, but we've tried very hard to clarify exactly what we believe and why those things are completely separate and should be treated completely differently. And I like this person, and I think they're like getting pretty far in. I know they haven't hit the Nazi tier arguments, like they don't know the secret Nazi dog whistle shit, or I would have picked up on a couple things. They didn't know some of the references I knew or whatever, so I know they're not like deep in yet, but they're headed that way, and my impression is they enjoy it quite a bit, right? It's something exciting and fun to explore at that age of life where he's at. And I think it's sad and dumb and gross, because there's no, like, there's someone that's close to someone I'm close to, but I'm not particularly close to them. But I feel like they probably don't have anyone else in their life that has ever like taught them why these things are bad, or like why they should or shouldn't believe an otherwise hateful thing. And I feel like there's way more younger guys, right? It's kind of bleeds over the Trump shit, that are really like embracing this fuck the Jews type shit. Yeah, it sucks. I'm kind of preparing my dialogue tree, my series of questions I want to run on them. And I think the outcome will mostly be determined by how, because I don't think they're a hateful person at all. This is like still very early days, right?
Misguided a little bit, misinformed.
I think so. But those conversations, like, I'm not there to scold someone who doesn't want to talk about it open-minded, right? Like, it's not
right. That's a
relationship.
wall.
Yeah, and my relationship to them is not that's not the dynamic, right? Like, if they respect me at all, it's just because they thought like I'm cool and know someone they know. But I have no like reason to, if I'm shitty at all, it won't be good, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like with like 5 questions, I could be very persuasive, but I want to kind of have my ducks in a row. But yeah, I'm still kind of feeling out where they're at, you know?
Yeah, that's, like I said, it's tough because it is such a delicate thing, and if they're kind of younger, it kind of, you know, those people can be headstrong and be, when they're kind of touching into something, it's like you said, it feels, it's inviting, it feels interesting and exciting, it's new.
Yeah.
And to challenge that, you really kind of have to not just come correct with information, but come correct with just the way you approach it. And it really does make a difference. You can always just bring him on the podcast and we'll just berate him for an hour. And
unironically, I would truly love that. And if they were up for it, I definitely would. But yeah, I definitely don't think I can push that. But if they wanted to, I would absolutely love that. Because I truly feel like with something like this, I can be pretty persuasive. Because if they haven't even... real Nazis have good arguments. Like, not the shitty, like, kids doing the parentheses and Jewish question shit on YouTube, but, like, real Nazis have fought these debates constantly for decades, right? Like, They have their arguments down. They know all their information and philosophy on why it backs up their worldview and shit. But these, like, kids that, like, stumble into this shit, they have no idea what they're talking about. They've read, like, 2 things, and they've heard a bunch of, like, dumb celebrities say disparaging shit about a group of people, and they think it's funny, and they get a reaction, and they have no idea of the implications of what they're saying.
Right.
Did you see Kanye's song dropped this week?
What did he do now?
It's called Hail Hitler. And the refrain is all my ninjas, Hail Hitler.
Wow.
Bro, it's him with a bunch of his friends, like, talking about how all his ninjas Hail Hitler. It's pretty... It's funny, dude. It's bad.
It's
like,
it sounds...
All these, like, kids...
Fucking terrible.
All these kids that love his music right now singing the new Hail Hitler song.
Fucking sing along.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I feel like the person I know is a good kid, and I feel like I owe it to him to have a conversation at some point.
I think that's
if he wants to.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know the relationship, but I don't think at all that you owe anyone that, but I think it is important that, if you see the opportunity to help someone in that way, I think it's important to jump on that. It's not...
Because the shit festers.
So many of the, so many times it's like you don't notice these things, you don't hear these things until it's like from a one-on-one conversation with someone until they're like deep into it.
Far in.
And it's like, it's like I don't have the time or tools to help you deprogram from this.
That's where you're always at the disadvantage is you can even make a lot of progress on a one-on-one conversation, but it's when a person is dug into a community, when as soon as your conversation is over, they have 100 other people constantly trying to get their approval or get their attention or change what they believe. It's really hard when someone's sucked in, like just past the threshold to like pull them out type shit.
I mean, that's like, someone pointed this out and I don't know enough about it, but it's something that definitely seems to make sense. I didn't spend enough time in the church to have any like real insight on this, but like when they send kids out to like go door to door and like
proselytize,
have a minute to talk about Jesus, and it's like, and then they get turned away. They get the door slammed in their face all the time. And it's like, go fuck yourself, whatever. And then they come back to the church and they're like, see, like all of these people like don't want you to they want to change you. They think it's wrong. And like, that's why we're doing this. And that's why this is important that you're a part of this.
Yeah. It emboldens.
So when surrounded by people that are going like, hey, like, yeah, when people come to you like that, like that's why we need to be doing this. 'Cause people are out there that are, you know, trying to make you change and trying to like pull you from the truth. And
I just can't go.
no, I think that's why it's important to like take that with caution, right? Of like come off correct of just like, I'm not telling you like, hey, you're a fucking idiot and like, how dare you believe this? It's like, ask questions of like, well, why do you believe this? Why does that, you know,
Socratic.
feel right to you? Why does that feel, you know, why is that belief beneficial to you?
I think Socratic method is always the best internal deconstruction. But I will say with younger guys, there also is a certain amount of aggression can be good. 'Cause a lot of people do respond to that.
Yeah.
You know, as long as it's not too far. When I think of the things I believed when I was this person's age, it makes the things they believe look not serious at all. I was so much more unhinged, in a more mentally ill way. Where
kid, you don't know hate.
Yeah, dude, it's like
we have
silly.
a bona fide statistic that we spent time and rolled through numbers. I know how many people I hate.
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. But
and it's for the right reasons.
I just can't imagine, even at their age, like looking at guys like Andrew Tate and being like, that guy's cool. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We would have, like, even in high school, we would have just like made fun of those dudes.
That guy is a fucking clown, yeah.
Fucking loser. Yeah, but it seems like a lot of kids now, they're getting something they're not getting anywhere else, apparently. And I understand the like, oh, take the good points but ignore the bad. Like, you can get good shit from everyone, you know, separate the art from the artist, but
fucking sift through enough shit.
Yeah, you find something.
You'll find some corn in there.
But to accept a character like that on the whole, or to be enamored, right? To be charmed by it is it's all bad.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning.
Yeah. So I'm kind of preparing my line of questioning.
I feel like I think it would depend more about like what you know about them already. But I mean, I think it's kind of the big one is like, what is it that attracts you to this? And why is it beneficial to, why is this thought process beneficial to you?
Yeah. Like, what do you like about it at all? Or like, I think a large part, like the Jewish question shit is like that part of Nazi propaganda tends to be more subtle. It's like the Jewish conspiracy of like how they rule the world and pull all the strings, right? That's the Illuminati, but Jews, right?
It's like one of the smallest religious networks of all of them.
Yeah, the Nazi arguments tend to approach it from, while they use the size of the religion as evidence, right? They're so small proportionately, but they have an unproportional control of things like media and banking, and they downstream form all their arguments off of that. But to someone who doesn't know like any of that shit, they just think like, oh, it really is just the Illuminati, and that they have no evidence to like even think it at all. They they've just heard it enough times that they think it's like a possibility, and they fucking run with it. So it's like you could go like 3 questions into that, and they would have no I feel like 1 question, they just would have no reason to believe any of it's true. But there's like an emotional hook that they put into these things that it, for whatever reason, they feel something to believe that. And
do you think
it's tricky?
Do you think it would be helpful to point out that it's like that line of reasoning of like, oh, they're secretly controlling the world and whatever? It's like, if you're pointing out that like you're like 2 steps away from the lizard people argument.
That I think one of the interesting questions I've been playing with is like, well, if you believe they meet all these factors, right? Like for that conspiracy to be true, they have to be deceptive, powerful, mischievous, like all these other bullshit things, right? Mm-hmm. Then if you believe, right, as assumedly, you would think you're better than them. They just have control, right? They're the evil ones. You're the good guy fighting back. What's the difference between you and a Nazi? Is the line just violence? Like, you believe all the same things, but you just don't think it would be right to violently end that conspiracy? And if that's your worldview, then like, aren't you just a pussy? You think it's like they're that bad, but you don't think you're entitled to violently, like I feel like when you start playing with those ideas, it's like, well, then how much do you really believe what you're saying you believe?
Yeah.
But I think the tricky part is a lot of these kids that get into it is like, they weren't raised religious. They have no philosophical footing. That they have like no carved out or established worldview of their own at all. So what do you have besides like internet theories and what the people close to you tell you to believe? Like that, there's
tell
no
them to
reason.
Go touch grass.
Well, yeah, but even if they do, it's like, why would they not believe it?
Yeah,
like truly, like. Fuck,
like that's your world. That's what you're surrounded with.
Yeah, and you have no. I still tend to think like being raised religious is worse than not, and either way, fuck all religions and false idol, all that shit. But if you're not like filling that with some sort of thinking or belief, even if that's in yourself or like things you've read or like something, I don't know how you would not just fall for everything. Like anything someone tells you, you have like no compass of figuring out if that's true or not, or why you should or should not believe things.
Yeah, kind of have to build your own.
Yeah.
I was going to say moral compass, but that's not the right thing I'm looking for. It's like it's kind of that. It's not even right or wrong. It's just like
it is.
What do you stand for? Yeah.
But then you're arguing like, hey, you shouldn't hate someone for this reason, and they're going to be like, "Oh, okay, why?" And then you're at like fundamental axioms. Oh my god, axioms. Oh my god, I can't talk.
What's the term? Is it's circumstantial facts. You know.
What do you mean?
So like, you don't hate someone because they're from Israel. You hate someone because they believe in a system of worship that is,
I get what you mean. But.
Yeah, it's controlling and manipulative and completely devoid of logic.
But they haven't even got that far. That they don't even know. I would imagine. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine they don't even know why they would to begin with. Like there's no true like basis of the beliefs, but they don't have like counter core beliefs that would inform them to why believing those things would be bad. You know, like I could be like, oh, to kill dolphins is good. Like it is a good thing for humans to go out and not even eat them, just cut dolphins in half. That is a good thing to believe. And if someone believed that and they have like no like core values on respect for life, it's like, how the fuck do you convince them that's wrong? You know, where it gets a lot harder when they don't have their own set of beliefs that you can build on in common. Because you're really hoping to like reconnect them with their own moral intuitions. But that's a lot of groundwork to try to cover in a conversation or two when everyone else in their life will just try to walk them away from that.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
I can do it though. I can convert them.
Oh, I believe in you.
It'll be easy.
He's a young, weak-minded, or not weak-minded, but the vulnerable. He's ripe for the picking.
I hope so.
We'll make a radical leftist out of him yet.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's all I got.
Cool.
I got stun locked because I still don't. Do you think of yourself as left?
I mean,
left leaning. I
yeah.
don't like, yeah.
It's like it depends on who's asking. I guess it's like
true. Yeah.
I generally like the term progressive more. Just not for what it's kind of become, but for what it actually means.
I'm with you. It just sucks how many people ruin it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like now like, to be a like, you have to be protesting against Israel right now.
Yeah.
Like, everything's changed so much. There's not really a home for us.
Yeah.
Or to the earlier point, there's really not a home for people with like progressive democratic values that also like guns. You're like fucked by everybody.
Yeah. What's how far where does it make us land when we talk about crucifying Christians? Where does that put us on the scale?
That would be
up. That seems pretty left.
No, it would be up in the right. That'd be upper right quadrant. Graph go up. Money counter go burr. That would be fascist.
Okay, cool.
It would be though.
You're right.
To believe you have the sole right to enact violence because someone doesn't believe what you want, and to that fact, I would say I am a fucking fascist. Fuck Christians, dude. Christians deserve fascism.
Hey, I learned it by watching The President.
He taught us well. All right, that's all I got.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here. I'm done too.
Yep.
Thanks again for listening, everybody. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
For the memes, if you're super bored, you can check out my trashy art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZICX. It's slow, but I will not stop. I cannot.
I would really like a new episode with Chaotic Steel in it. That would be.
Yes, we're going to message him. Yeah, we talked about something about a month away from now. So we'll set up a group message. On the docket, we've been kind of building up to it. I think it's finally about time we get to our Elon Nazi propaganda arc to finally address Maximus Kekmus. I think that's coming up soon, and that will be good.
All right.
Because the new Nazi propaganda.
Biding our time on that.
Yeah, I'm prepped for it, bro. These losers are so dumb, but the propaganda is subtle in many regards, and it's being pumped out by the biggest owners of social media in the world, and it's pretty insidious stuff, and I think we'll have fun.
Yeah, I think it's true. I noticed I haven't seen his name in the headlines in like a week or so. He's getting it too easy right now. It's important that we.
Well, he's losing a lot of fucking money, but
he's got plenty to lose. He's fine.
Yeah, but Tesla very well may get rid of him and are struggling to not go under right now. But the part the media isn't really capturing it is that his ownership of Tesla is not nearly as big as his ownership of the Stargate stuff, the internet satellite shit, and that's where he's making a lot of his money. So even if Tesla fails, it's kind of outside of the ego part, which would be a big hit to someone like him. Financially, Stargate is, will keep him rich forever. So, and it has a lot more military control. So it's all goofy.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash.
It is in the jungle.